If you ask me who would be in a slight scandal with Congresswoman Nancy Mace, Dr. Umar Johnson, or Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, oh, definitely Umar. Most definitely Umar. But no, it's Dr. Michael Eric Dyson with Nancy Mace. So it's funny. It's more funny than sad because it's not really that deep. So what happened was Mace, and Dyson were on CNN, and it was talking about Kamala Harris. And Mace started it because I'm calling her Kamala, like, and I don't care what people say. And then the whole panelist said, "It's Kamala," and then Dyson jumped in his own wordy way. He criticized Mace, and Mace said, "Oh, I'm a racist now," and you know, Dyson was like, "No, I didn't call you a racist," and they just went round and round. So, and it went on for a while. And then I guess after the segment, they took this photo, and then after this photo, Dyson sent her a text, and he said, "Shh, don't tell anybody we look good together," laughing with a kissing emoji. And then she said, "Haha," and he said, "Well, you look gorgeous. Well, you're gorgeous," and makes the photo. And Dyson made a video later when he read the rest of the text, right? So that's that, right? Well, the problem with this is everybody we didn't see this photo. So the only thing we know is that argument between Mace and Dyson about racism. So Mace went to Congress and she put this up. She pulled a Love and Hip Hop. It's like, oh, I thought only rappers go through this. I thought only rappers got exposed through text. So Mace exposed Dyson. Dyson doubled down, called her a racist, and then he doubled down again in his video. It's kind of funny in a lot of ways. Because when you look at this photo, I mean, they both seem cool together, even after that debate. I mean, Dyson, he's real hugged up on Nancy, because Nancy's in good shape, right? So he's really hugged up on Nancy's waist. But Nancy's leaned in. She's not like far away like this. No, she leaned in. So she liked the hug, you know? It's funny when you can have a whole debate on racism and be that hugged up at the end. So it's true. And he did call her gorgeous. Now, in that video, he said he calls all these women gorgeous. He said, I called Dana Bash. I texted Dana Bash and said, you did a good job. You look gorgeous. I texted Susan Taylor. And she's a black woman, if you don't know, from Essence. She was one of the founders of Essence, I believe, or editor-in-chief of Essence. And he said, she said something great. And I said, she looked gorgeous. First of all, he needs to stop calling women gorgeous. Like, you could have done that 10 years ago, but only thing you got to do is just call the one woman gorgeous, and she's going to say, he's toxic. So stop calling women gorgeous. Even if they are attractive, you can't do it. Like, it's not what it used to be, man. It's not 2004 anymore. It's 2024. You can't, as a dude, you can't see anything. He's even walking on eggshells by hugging her like that. It's not a bad hug, but I remember reading something about Keanu Reeves last year, where when women ask him for a photo, he'll take a photo, but he has his arms behind his back and he leans in and he smiles, but he doesn't touch anybody because he don't want anybody to say, "Oh, he touched me inappropriately." And it's like, well, it's just a hug. I didn't do anything, but he don't want any type of scandal. So Keanu and a lot of guys, they just lean in or they just stand next to him and smile, but no hug. So Dyson, man, you got to stop. You got to stop hugging these women too, because it only takes one woman to say that you're inappropriate. So this is a bit of advice from an outsider. But it's sad with Dyson, right? The same thing about Dyson is that I remember Dyson when he popped up. It was like back in the 90s. It was like Tavis Smiley and Kevin Powell and Cornel West and Dyson and all these dudes who was talking about like social issues and black culture, using pop culture and news. It was fantastic. And I remember seeing Cornel and Dyson at Kent State back in the 90s. And I always loved Cornel because Cornel, he talked about black issues and history mixed with pop culture of blues and jazz. Because you talk about John Coltrane and the great Miles Davis. I love Cornel. I wish Cornel was on the debate stage with Kamala and Trump. That would have been fun, since he's still a third-party candidate, but they won't allow third-party candidates. So Cornel's always been Cornel. Dyson's changed, though. Dyson was like that, too. Dyson talked about black culture and social issues, but he mixed it instead of like where Cornel used jazz and blues. Dyson used hip hop lyrics and rappers. So he would talk about Biggie and Pac and Jay-Z, and it was just cool that just how he just incorporated rap lyrics into things of the past. He was brilliant that way, right? Well, over the years, Cornel stayed Cornel. Even if he was on CNN with Anderson Cooper, Cornel still spoke his mind for the most part. Dyson became more of a panelist. And when you become a panelist, you even can go one of two ways. You're firmly Democratic or you're firmly Republican. You can't be a Democrat with some shades of gray, and you can't be a Republican with shades of gray. You got to be one or the other. And I've witnessed this even more recently with Kamala Harris, because old school Dyson would have said, I believe in this sister. I think she's a brilliant one. Dyson would be like, she's a brilliant, gorgeous woman. But I do have questions. And he said, she has to answer for when she locked up parents in California over the truancy laws. Like, how does she feel about that then? How she feels about that now? How about how she feel about police brutality? Should cops be responsible financially? If they unlawfully kill somebody? Like these are questions that Dyson would have made even back in 2004, I think. But I think a lot of people changed. Like once Barack Obama became president, I think a lot of people got in, and CNN was looking for a lot of black thinkers, and it was putting a lot of people on. And I think over the years, I think some of these people kind of got whatever messages they used to have, whatever like broad independent thoughts they used to have, they kind of consolidated. Because listen, you being an analyst or a panelist on one of these networks is great money. Like you have your speaking engagements, you can teach on the college campus, and you got this thing where I'm on CNN just talking about Kamala Harris. I'm getting paid how much? Sign me up. Even my criticisms of Kamala Harris is like, Kevin, we're gonna pay you this amount of money, but you can't criticize Kamala Harris. How much you gonna pay me off? So she is a wonderful woman, and I can't say nothing but beautiful things about Kamala Harris. And don't you ever say her name wrong. They can buy me off too. So Dyson isn't quite the guy. And the fallout from this might be from his wife, because he's married, right? Now, if it's a thing where his wife knows that he's hooked up on chicks, and he calls them gorgeous, and she knows this, then they're perfectly fine. But if this is something kind of new, or they talked about this before, and she said, I don't want you doing this, but he's still doing it, then he got some explaining to do at the house. It's funny, man. This stuff will blow over pretty soon. But also, it's like his audience is black women. Like back in the day, like I said, back in the 90s, it was 50-50. Like there was a lot of dudes that was on Dyson's train, as with women. So it was like a 50-50 split. Probably even more black men was probably in Dyson back in the day, showing up for speaking engagements and things like that. But over the years, it's firmly become black women. So if you're firmly with black women, you cannot be hugged up on Nancy Mace. You can't be Nancy Mace, Sydney Sweeney, Casey Musgraves, J-Lo. You can't. You gotta be all Kamala, all Beyonce, all Oprah, all Taraji P. Henson. Hey man, you can't be hooked up on this snowflake like that. They ain't gonna like that, bruh. So no, he had to do damage control fast. Kudos to him for fighting this already. So he's saying he wants to try to hit on her. I don't know, man. When you say we look good together with a kissy face, I'll give you the gorgeous part. If you say, hey, I call all women gorgeous, I'll give you that. But when you say we look good together with a big smile on your face, like this, I don't know, man. I'm not saying he would ever do anything with her, because I don't think she's single. Because she was engaged last year, but she's single now. But again, he's not. But that doesn't stop anybody. But yeah, I think he might have he flirted with her. Not to say he will hook up with her. He firmly flirted with her, and he probably has always been a big flirt. Just by the way he talks and the way he moves, he always moved like a pastor or a pimp. So he's probably always flirted. But in this day and age, man, you can't flirt. You can't flirt. You can't send kissy emojis. You can't say you're gorgeous. You can't say we look good together. Just from a financial law point of view, don't do it, Dyson. And from a wife point of view, stop hugging these snowflakes. Dr. Umar told y'all about this.